In the lead-up to this year, the Trump administration created a human rights crisis at the border by separating and detaining migrant families in inhumane conditions, pushing Mexico to deploy its National Guard in a migration enforcement capacity, holding up key aid to Central American countries, and rather than help migrants seeking life-saving protection and a chance to contribute, by delivering them to dangerous Mexican border towns and Central American countries ill-equipped to care for them. Today, what was once a human rights crisis has also become a deadly humanitarian catastrophe. Using COVID-19 as a pretext, the Trump administration has ramped up its cruel policies, endangering the health and safety of tens of thousands of lives. It has continued to hold migrants in inhumane detention conditions, leading to aggressive and horrific COVID-19 outbreaks among detained migrants. It has deported migrants with COVID-19 to Central American countries and elsewhere, all while making critical humanitarian aid for these countries contingent on cooperation with draconian migration enforcement policies. And it has defied its legal and moral obligations by shutting down the U.S.-Mexico border to asylum seekers. Tens of thousands of migrants and asylum seekers have been expelled immediately upon entry into the United States. They often have no choice but to stay in crowded border encampments, where their lives are at significant danger from insecurity and COVID-19 spread. It doesn't have to be this way. We can protect public health and human rights. Here's how we could do it. It starts at home, by ensuring that law enforcement agencies with a demonstrated culture of abuse and no public health expertise, like ICE and CBP, do not play a leading role in processing asylum seekers. And by getting serious about alternatives to detention, which can help strengthen social distancing and other health measures while improving due process. At the border, the U.S. needs to end policies like Remain in Mexico and metering that force migrants to wait in unsafe and unhygienic border conditions. Let's instead work with Mexico to ensure the rights, safety, and health of migrants and asylum seekers. And rather than holding up critical humanitarian aid to Central America, let's partner with courageous advocates in the region who are fighting the corruption that prevents millions from getting access to care, and the human rights abuses driving so many to migrate. Borders should not be barriers to human rights. Join WOLA's Beyond the Wall campaign to fight for humane regional migration policies.